We are live. Welcome back, everyone. It is July 11th. We are back with the live AMA. So this week we're missing Mitch. Obviously, he's been out. He was out last week, and then this week, I think there might be an echo on Discord. Mitch has been gone for 2 weeks. I think he'll be back next week, though. So in the meantime, we've got today's interactive AMA. So later in the show, some of you guys will jump on and ask questions. But today we got a special guest with some special announcements. Eric, you wanna give us a little intro and what magic you've been cooking behind the scenes?
Yes. Hey everyone. So we have here David. David works as a consultant with OnixCoin. OnixCoin is a blockchain, and they have developed a game called Army of Crypto. Both Army of Crypto and Onyx are the latest official partners of Leo Finance. We actually just closed that today, and we didn't want to wait until the next AMA to let you guys know. For those who have been watching the blockchain, you will see there's a new community in town for Army of Crypto. So if you want to learn a little bit about it later, you can go poke around. In the meantime, David, welcome. Thanks for being here. Can you tell the Lions of Leo Finance what the hell is Onyx and what the hell is Army of Crypto? And for those, while David deals with the mute, we are going to take a few questions for Onyx and Army of Crypto later when he finishes the deep dive into what the projects are. So if you want to leave any questions on the threadcast, we are going to give that a big vote, and yeah, just poke around and try to find good questions. And also, after this section of the AMA, we are going to go through the normal Leo Finance, how do you call it? Rapid fire from call. So if you have any questions about the LeoVerse, shoot.
All right, everybody, thanks for having me on. Eric, thank you so much for having me here today. Just a quick, easy rundown for simplicity. Onyx itself is an ORC20. It's a similar blockchain to Ethereum. The only major difference is that we focus 100% on indie game development. So what we love is creating entire ecospheres. We love creating the opportunity for smaller games to hop on and be able to not only get a leg up, because indie games are oftentimes greatly overlooked. And if you remember indie games over the last 10, 15 years, some of the most simplest games tend to have the highest replay value because it's all about strategy. And that leads us into Army of Crypto. We are an 8-sided card battling game that is basically an advanced new age NFT driven chess match. So Army of Crypto provides a lot of easy access into high guild style battling systems. It allows you to basically outwit your opponent. And we're not a traditional game in the sense that here we are, buy some NFTs and now you magically win. Paying to win, it's not how you do it. You have to use real strategy, and it's really going to behoove you to take a gander at Army of Crypto and OnixCoin as our partnerships begin to develop. For those of you that are not aware, we have several exchanges that we're actually on. We have a lot of different projects in the works, and we are a multi-project team. So a lot of us work in different areas. So we're bringing together as many platforms as possible. Thanks, Eric, for introducing us to Leo Finance. This will be a fun one to join and watch grow.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. And I understand that you went into alpha, what was it, like a month ago or something like that?
Actually, July 4th, we dropped our first whitelist. Anybody who had actually bought a pack of cards was able to play alpha stage right now. I've been playing it for a week and a half, and we actually are getting matches, collecting data, and if you find a bug, you basically get paid to find these bugs.
Oh yeah,
So
there's a 30,000 bounty pool, right?
yeah, absolutely. So we have the bounty system. So not only is it good to be early because you're getting these packs that are pretty, I think we're having a 50% off starting phase. So people can join, and we're collecting the data, collecting the bugs, and each release we're actually fixing small issues as they arise. Once we hit beta phase, it'll be just about done. It'll be mostly data collecting. We're expecting anywhere from 60 to 120 days for that to really happen. But we're looking at about a 90-day window before we drop full release, or at least as close to full release as we can be. Every every project, when you talk web 1, web 2, and web 3 all together at the same time, are going to have issues. So our team is basically, we play every day and we interact every day for those bounties to see what we can update. um, our devs are a small team, but I think we sleep, breathe, and eat playing Onyx and playing AOC at this time. So
And I understand, maybe I'm not correct, but correct me if I'm wrong. I understand that so Onyx is the blockchain, Army of Crypto is the flagship game right now, but you won't develop all of the games. You are actually open to welcome new games into the Onyx blockchain, right?
100%. This is the first game that's being developed. We're developing it. All the games after this, I mean, I'm gonna make my own game in the future. Basically, we're inviting people. We're actually offering a scholarship program for new small indie games. If they want to develop on Onyx blockchain, we've got 10 slots available. And I think AOC gets the first one, obviously, but we're actually giving away Onyx to help them get started on the project. So yeah, indie game developers, if you know how to port, you know how to run libraries, you know how to get it on into a blockchain tech for on-off ramps. I don't want to go too tech here, but basically come see us because you have an opportunity to get on a very early roller coaster ride. So yeah, absolutely. Good point.
Yeah, and well, maybe some people listening right now would say, "Oh, so anyone can do a game on Onyx blockchain. They can also do it on Hive or whatever." So the main point, and this is why we wanted to do an AMA, the main point of these partnerships that Leo Finance is spearheading is to open the door to other projects with a lot of potential. Blockchains like Onyx, they have a lot of room to grow, and just the fact that one dApp is not developed on Hive doesn't mean that Leo Finance cannot partner with, because in the end, if one blockchain grows, the other one grows. And yes, we are Leo Finance is 100% committed to growing Hive, but at the same time, growing together with blockchains and projects that are that share the vision and share the same goals towards the community and the values of what real blockchain and real transparency and real decentralization is. It's all for the best interest of both. So that's basically one of the main ideas that we want to develop with all of these partnerships. For those who are listening, 20 days ago, we also announced another partnership, and we are slowly going to expand the partnership horizon of Leo Finance and Hive at the same time, so that we can also help Hive grow, even if that means partnering with projects outside of the Hive ecosystem. In the end, if the project is good, if the blockchain is good, it's in our best interest for both to grow. So I think this partnership is going to be amazing. I think both Onyx and Army of Crypto have a lot of potential. So thank you for coming here. I don't know if there's a little bit more that you want to go in depth about Army of Crypto so that people get hooked on the game, because right now they just know like the concept or the theory, but maybe you want to get them hooked, so they go and visit the community page on Leo Finance about this new game.
Yeah. So when I explain Army of Crypto and I say it's a chess match on steroids, that's really what it is. But I want you to understand that we're creating an ecosystem where each game that comes onto the Onyx blockchain can make their own token that's used in game. They can make their own NFTs that's used in game. They can make as long as they have a splash page, a server, a landing spot, and they have a game design where people can on and off ramp to play against each other the way that we have designed it. It's not just that we created AOC. We want to be able to create an easy way for indie game developers to have an on-off ramp for their product to have the popularity it deserves. So AOC itself, if you remember, and some of you will remember this, do you remember Final Fantasy VIII? I'm throwing it way back. All right, we got a head.
Yeah, I do.
Right? Final Fantasy VIII had a card game in it. People played that card game more than the original game itself. If you've ever played Witcher 3, for example, look at that card game. They developed an entire game by itself that actually made more money last year than the Witcher 3 game resells. So these card games are fun because they're not overly intensive graphics, and it's about strategy. So that's what AOC brings to the table. It's all about strategy. If you just want to point and click and just fire, whatever space gun you have, then the strategy is different. If you want to actually play games that challenge you, tournaments, winners win real world prizes. If you want that, that's what Army of Crypto is bringing to the table. That's probably something you should look at if you enjoy those type of games, the environments, the culture. Magic the Gathering, that's a fantastic game that many people remember. I remember 3rd edition. I had a white deck when I was, 11 years old. I remember that. So those type of games live on in infamy because of the design, because of the competitiveness, not because they have the best graphics, not because they have the most unique idea. It's the community, and that's what Army of Crypto can bring to you.
Yeah, community is key, and that's why we actually chose the Hive blockchain, because the community here is so loyal and so tight and tied together. And I think that what you're trying to do is the greatest approach. You have a solid foundation, which is something that really that I really liked about OnixCoin in general. You have a good user base, which are also players, and then you are developing a game for them, but also for people outside, not just developing for the inside, which is something that some crypto projects tend to do, to cater to the existing community instead of trying to go further. Carl, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I love the going back on one of your points, Eric. The whole idea of being chain agnostic and bringing together projects and blockchains. I think one of the biggest issues in this space is that people are so siloed and tribal about everything. And I've never been one of those people that's like, oh, you're not on my blockchain, you're not using my token, you're not using this and this, and therefore you are useless to me and shouldn't exist, which I think is a huge problem in crypto right now, and it always has been, where you've got people just siloing themselves off. So I think the true growth in this industry happens when projects come together and find similarities, and I think there are a lot of similarities in what you guys are doing, and in what we're doing, and the overall vision that we have. One thing that I love about what you said is letting the community kind of drive what happens, and you mentioned a couple games, and a big one for me was World of Warcraft. That was my game for many years. Yeah, and that game really took off in the hands of the people that used it. I doubt that there were people sitting at Blizzard saying, hey, we're going to create this game from the outset, and we're going to create this whole in-game economy and mini games and arenas and all the stuff that kind of came after. I doubt that was the plan from the outset. But what happened was, the community ran with it, and they created their own mini economies and mini games, and they dictated what items were worth what, and I think that's the beauty of games, and now crypto in general, where we've got so much technology at our disposal. We can actually put these things in the hands of the users. So I love what you guys are doing, that you're really putting it in the hands of the community. So just to tie your 2 points together, like, we all have a lot to benefit from working together and finding ways to be similar and grow. And I know a lot of people like to sit in their siloed chains, but I'm not one of them. And then putting it in the hands of the community.
Strange fact to add to that: in 2011, the third highest earning job in South Korea, the country, was indeed farming gold for World of Warcraft.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it was a crazy time. I loved it. Actually, Addicted actually just wrote a post about that yesterday, about Chinese gold farmers, and yeah, it was a whole industry. It was a whole industry, and it was all created from the community. And that's the reason why that was the #1 game in the world, is because the community drove what happened, and for better or worse, Blizzard did kind of get out of the way for a long time and let the community run it. So just a little bit.
I am reading a question, Dave. So is there any way that people can get, okay, so sorry, I'm gonna rephrase. How does one get Onyx, and how do you start playing?
Great question. Okay, so you can purchase Onyx. We have Blockchain Financial, is a central exchange that has some really unique features. Onyx is generally sold there. We can make sure that it gets put on there. XEgg, which is a funny exchange that I've seen grow since development over the last 2 years. They're fantastic. They're highly underrated. They could be $1 billion exchange, and people wouldn't know the difference. So with that being said, we have XEgg, we have Blockchain Financial, and then we will be adding in more ways to do it as we progress. So that's the first place you can get Onyx from, is those two primary exchanges. After that, you can use Onyx to buy the packs. We only allow Onyx to be used for now to buy the packs. Your next question probably should be answered ahead of time before it's even asked. Hertz is the in-game token used for AOC. What that does is develop an economy for the game itself, where you will use Hertz to protect your cards. This is the one aspect I haven't even spoken about yet. I forgot about it. You can bet Hertz. You can bet your own NFTs in a game. And this is the best part. When you bet 1 or 2 NFTs, which is all you're allowed to do, we don't want people to lose everything, in a match, at the end of the match, if you lose, it's randomly selected out of your cards. So if you use all your best cards, you might lose 1 or 2 if you lose the match. With that being said, you can use insurance to protect your cards, which many of us will do, because I'm not losing a $500 card like that. Those are the first 2 places. That's the in-game currency. That's its use. In order to purchase a pack, you would go to the easiest place to start with is OnixCoin.io, and you can look at the project, and then also you can go to armyofcrypto.com. Let me double check that one, but it's Army of Crypto. And when you go there, you can actually purchase your packs directly. There's also a marketplace for secondary after sales, which you'll see probably myself. I've populated a lot of little cards in there. So I kind of like help set the price range just so people understand. So hopefully that answered your question fully with a little bit of extra.
Yes. So maybe this is a question for the future, but I understand that the main dev of Onyx told me that there might be a way to buy Onyx directly with HBD once there's some development done, so that the Hive community can buy Onyx and start playing without going into an exchange or doing like some hassle work, leg work. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I actually wanted to buy some Onyx yesterday to get some packs to do a walkthrough of how Army of Crypto works, but I didn't have time. I had to crash, but I will do it today and I will post that for those who are wondering. But the community page already has some content there. Go check it out. If you see anyone posting there, drop a comment, drop some feedback. That's how we are going to grow the community pages on Leo Finance, by the existing community, going into those, engaging with the content, making them feel at home, because in the end, that's what we want. We want every project to feel at home on Leo Finance when sharing their own content. So yeah, I think this is amazing. I'm going to check for any other questions on the Threadcast. There hasn't been many, but that's understandable. They just learned about the project 20 minutes ago. But Carl, do you want to add anything while I check questions?
Yeah, I was just giving the community a look. So if you guys don't know how to get there, because I know the whole the communities thing is fresh UI, but you basically go to the communities tab and then you can search Army of Crypto, and then it comes right up. So there's 13 members now, so you guys should run out and join. Yeah, like Eric was saying, there's a couple pieces of content already. I think he's going to get his walkthrough done, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more soon in this universe. But yeah, it looks really cool. This is my first time really seeing any of like the in-game views, and people have posted looking at one, how to build a basic general deck. So definitely looks really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So can we have OnixCoin coming to the Leo decks? I think that's going to be a little bit harder, but that there can be a wrapped version on Hive Engine. The card betting system used to be very popular on Magic the Gathering. RunEscape. I don't see any more questions, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to get as soon as more people start hearing about Army of Crypto.
The Indian trader asked, is that a new game here? So we did cover that it was on its own chain, or on the Onyx chain, and it's the first game there. But Eric, you were alluding to that maybe in the future there's going to be like HBD direct to Onyx, right?
Yeah, so we still have to go through some conversations with the wizard dev they have, but in theory it could be done pretty easy to send HBD to a Hive account, and then that Hive account signaling to their own deployer to send Onyx directly into the OnixCoin wallet directly in game, so that people can buy packs or cards without going into any exchange. We haven't really spoken about this, but in theory it's doable.
So you kind of already mentioned it a little bit, but just for a recap for people, if they wanted to go, let's say that they're just like mostly on Hive, because that's where the audience is. If they wanted to go get like their initial exposure and get their feet wet, what would be like the simple, couple steps for them to get in the game?
Yeah, so the way I did it, and it might be good for those who to emulate my steps. I got some crypto out of Hive. I sent it to a SEX. I use Binance. For those in the US, you can use any other one where you can have USDT. You can even use Leo Finance Cup DeFi or the multi-token bridge to get some USDT. And then those USDT, you have to send them. I opened an account on XEGX, XEGGEX, .com, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's .io.com, but you will find it. And then I deposited my USDT there. And there's pairing to USDT, USDC, and Litecoin. So you just have to buy Onyx in that exchange, and then send your Onyx to the wallet, to the game wallet, which you can get on armyofcrypto.com and in wallet.onixcoin.io. And once you get the Onyx on your wallet, you are ready to buy some packs. You only need, I think you only need one pack to start playing. And that's pretty much it. And the walkthrough I'm going to do is based pretty much on that. And yeah, I think David is frozen. So maybe we can start with LeoVerse updates. I want to do the cat voice, but I don't know if I can. But yeah, I noticed something pretty big in the community pages. I don't know if it's live already, but I saw a section in the Leo Finance community page that says threads, maybe.
You did catch it. You caught it early. Yeah, we are working on the integration right now for threads into community pages, but it's not live yet. But you can clearly see the tab. Obviously, we're working on the routing and everything. So it is the tab is there. But if you click it, depending on what community you're in, but if you click it, like for example, from the Leo Finance community, you'll just see that it just doesn't load anything. It loads a bunch of placeholders. So the integration is not done yet. But that is in one of the next major updates that's going to come out, where you can have your own threads feed as a community. So, just to take a step back, we've kind of talked about it a few times in some posts and in the last AMA, a couple of weeks ago, but the vision going forward for the Everything app is really to build, a hub for everything, all sorts of content, all sorts of communities. And that means, long form and short form content, but it also means being able to, as more content, because right now, there is still a lot of content that gets posted to the UI, and, there's a lot of microblogs, but there's also a lot of articles that get posted. So, a growing problem is going to be that we need to better silo content and give you the ability to see what you want to see, not, stuff that you don't want to see, obviously. So the way that other social media platforms handle this is through, various algorithms. Obviously Twitter made big noise bringing their algorithm public. But most algorithms are, some behind the scenes crazy filtering mechanics that, are watching your every move and giving you the content that it thinks you want to see. And, building an algorithm like that is obviously no easy task. But our long-term plan is that we will have algorithms like that, obviously open source ones that you can tweak yourself. So the idea is we're going to be going through like this long-term multi-stage development where, the first stage of it is what you're seeing right now, where we build different sections of the UI, and then we have ways for our users to decide where their content belongs on the UI. So, for example, we just had, we were just talking about Army of Crypto and their new community. So, if you're writing a post about Army of Crypto, you obviously want to put your content in the place where people who want to read about that will find it. So let's say that you make a long form article about Army of Crypto. You can then decide, like, there's now a drop down, and this got pushed to the UI last week. You can now publish an article from Leo Finance to any community. So from the publishing UI, you write your post about Army of Crypto. Then you go to that little tab and you can choose what community to post it in. So you post it in the Army of Crypto community. And then obviously it gets published to the Army of Crypto community page. Also, it gets published obviously to all the other main feeds, like the new feed, the trending feed, and then whatever hashtags you used obviously goes in those. But the idea is you get, as the user, you get to decide, okay, I want my content to be read by this audience, so I'm going to make sure it gets to these parts of the UI. So that means getting to the right community page, getting the right hashtags, and stuff like that. So that's kind of the initial phase of the development, which is that let's get the users, a few abilities to put the content where they want to put it. So community pages are obviously a big piece of that. And I think it's going to be the number one way that you find the content you want to find. You're going to be thinking to yourself, okay, I want to read about Army of Crypto, or I want to read about Splinterlands, or I want to read, Leo Finance articles about like crypto and finance specifically. Then you can go to that community page. If you want to see photography, or you want to see like ActiFit content, or just gaming content, there's the Hive gaming community. So all these different communities getting their own pages and being able to dictate their own feeds through the moderators functionalities. We're actually working on a lot of functionality for moderators right now. There's a bunch of stuff we're building that isn't actually possible on other UIs. So basically the way we did communities is that we're using the Hive framework for communities. So, like the Hive gaming community or Splinterlands community, those are at the base layer, and Army of Crypto and any other community that gets created. At the base layer of Hive, they are Hive communities. What we do then with them on the front end is we are giving them a lot more features and functionalities and moderation capabilities to show and move the order of content to better serve their community. So the idea is we built if you go to the homepage of Leo, you see the whole microblogging threads, Twitter replacement idea. Then when you hit the articles tab, you see kind of like the more like medium style replacement, so to speak. I don't love the word replacement, but it's just an easy word to use. And then when you hit communities, the idea is this is like Reddit, right? Like this is different communities posting about different topics. And the idea is that we are building like a decentralized Reddit. So the Everything app obviously has all of these things combined. So that's really the idea behind communities, is to like give all of these communities a Web3 version of Reddit, where they can then take their page and run with it and have their community and build out the content, build out the engagement. So this was the longest possible answer I could have given. But yes, the threads tab is on the community pages. It's not live yet, but the whole idea is that you'll have all these different places where you can put content, including threads, where all these different communities will now have their own threads feeds that they can moderate, they can curate, and they can promote and really build engagement. So the whole idea is now any community can come here, whether you're on Hive or off Hive, and you're seeing us bring people from off Hive, bring other communities and projects from off Hive, and get them set up and get the ball rolling. But I'm really excited about what communities can bring in terms of growing the user base.
Yeah, and that's the main idea, and I think that's where you hit the nail. So if there's someone, a hardcore, a Splinterlands hardcore gamer, so if they want to read more, or they are going to bed, they just finished playing, and they are going to bed, and they have their cell phone, and they want more Splinterlands, and they don't want to play because they played for 3 hours. Well, then you don't have to go to Reddit to read some conversations. You don't have to go to Twitter to see what's new. You don't have to go to Medium to see what's the official statements of the team. You can just go to Leo Finance, to the community page, and then you can see everything related to that. And you can actually choose your fix those. So you can go to threads and get some short fixes, or you can go to articles and get big fixes. But the main point is that anyone who is a hardcore fan of anything can have everything about the app or the company or the project or the product in one place, that they don't have to leave. But going into more known features, do you want to go through a rundown of the it was what was it? 14 updates in one go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So there were a ton of updates. I'm just pulling up a post so I don't miss anything. So that post was
I know that GIFs look way better right now.
yep. Yeah, that was actually one of the more recent updates. Let me just find my there we go. 15 days ago. So yeah, there were 14 major updates. So yeah, it's been a while since we did the AMA, but this post talked about 14 updates, and there's been some since. So I'll start with these and then quickly get through to the other ones that were a little more recent. But we posted this update talking about and I'll drop the link for everybody. Talking about all the different updates that came in the last major iteration. So there was a big update to like the whole threads, comment, and articles modules. So like, you know, when you're creating a thread, you guys have probably already seen this, but the box looks a lot different, and the you know, emojis and everything is different. And then obviously we added GIFs and emojis back, which I know a lot of people were waiting for. Since this update, we actually put out another update. I think it actually dropped yesterday, either yesterday or the day before. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday though. I get all my Sooniverse days mixed together. We dropped an update to the GIFs module. We actually just rebuilt it because the old one was really buggy. So like a lot of times, I'm sure if you ever used it, you noticed that like it would only show you like the top 3 GIFs, and then it would be like this weird transparent thing below it. So if you look at it now, it actually looks a lot like Twitter's. So we basically just built our own version, and you can like sort through categories. You can see like trending GIFs and stuff like that. And then you can obviously search for any GIF, and it has full support for like, I don't even know how many GIFs, like a ridiculous amount. So really any GIF you want to use, you can find in that menu now. So it's definitely a lot better. We also did update the emojis module. We changed it a little bit. It's a lot cleaner now, and it doesn't have that same kind of transparency glitch that the GIFs one had. So we updated that as well since this 14 update post went live. But then we did a bunch of backend improvements and speed. So I'm sure you guys have noticed a lot more speed on the UI and performance in general. So that was definitely a huge focus in this last iteration. And then we added some meta features like being able to copy links, reblog, downvote, and then also editing posts. I know Taskmaster was on my ass for a long time about adding the edit post functionality. So we actually added 2 edit buttons for Taskmaster. You can edit the post in like the full long form edit capability. And then there's also something called a light edit, which is basically like a quick edit. So you could just like quickly change a letter or something. If you don't want to leave the page, it just does like a pop-up. And you can like quick edit 1 or 2 pieces of text or something. Then just a bunch of other bug fixes we added. I'm sure you guys have noticed that announcement banner, so you can see all the latest posts from Leo Finance. And then talked about a little bit about what's next, like HTML support for articles.
Yes, please.
Community pages. Yeah, I know that's a big domino to fall. A lot of people are looking for that one. So that is coming soon. And then, you know, a bunch of communities updates since then. Obviously there's been, so kind of the way we're doing updates lately is that we're just rolling updates out as we get them. And then after, you know, say 10, 15 updates go live, we'll make a post summarizing all of them. So since that post, there's been probably like 6 or 7 more major updates, which I'm sure you guys have seen. And in terms of what's next and big that I think you guys will love.
The biggest one. Tell people about the little button that shares content to the Blue platform.
Yeah, so that went live yesterday. And so if you click the 3 dots next to any thread, you can, it says tweet. and it'll, if you click it, it just takes you over to Twitter, and it pre-fills all the data from the thread into a tweet, and then you can just obviously hit tweet, and it goes, and it just goes right through. So I know a lot of people were looking for the ability to cross post, and now you got it. So
what I'm wondering is, and this pretty, I mean, this is more for me, but the HTML, will it be out before August? Maybe.
it definitely will. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Eric just asked me a when.
Yeah. And I haven't even gone through the audience questions, but do you want to tell what's in store for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff is coming up. So I was talking about something big that's coming. I shared a teaser yesterday. If you guys want to, you can go find it in my threads feed. But I shared a teaser of one of the new pages that we've built, and I don't have a soon for it yet, but it is coming soon. And it's basically a whole new explore page where you can find like all sorts of stuff on the UI, and it looks amazing. And I also kind of teased that it could be the gateway to us adding sort of a Instagram Reels or Instagram Stories type of feature. So that is coming. And yeah, I'm excited about the explore page. It's kind of like the next big update, I think, is going to be the explore page. And then I was saying we're going to get threads for community pages live. That'll be a big one as well. And yeah, a bunch of other small stuff. I'll keep most of those as a surprise, but you guys already know, HTML coming and stuff like that. But the rest of it, you will have to wait and find out in the Sooniverse.
You have to use threads. You have to use Leo to find out what's new.
Yep.
Also, Tokenized Society says, don't call it GIF, even though it's the correct term.
Yeah, GIF. I don't know. I always called it a GIF.
I've always been GIF. I don't know why. I'm not even a native speaker.
Potato.
Oh, Taskmaster is asking, will the threads in the community only live in the community, or will they populate the main feed?
It's a good question. So the main feed is going to change a lot. You've already kind of seen it change in some ways, but the main feed is meant for everything. So everything can live in that main feed. But we need to have our, algorithms in place to sort that content better. So right now, just the main feed is literally just the most recently created threads in order. Obviously you can do like trending and following feeds and stuff like that. But adding more feed types and then also adding some sorting to the main feed is going to be kind of one of the next big iterations after the upcoming one. So right now it just defaults to latest, and like I said, it's just showing you a chronological order of new threads. I would say probably in the next month or so, you're going to see a new feed, which will become the default one, which is going to be an actually like almost like curated sorted feed, where you'll be able to choose what type of content in terms of categories that you like to see. And then you'll see content that is categorized in those categories. And then obviously you can flip back and forth to the latest feed. And then we're going to set the ability to choose what your default feed is. So long story short, yeah, if you post a thread into a community page, just like if you post an article into a community page, it still lives in the main feeds, like in the new and trending feeds. But it will also live obviously in that community's feed, and it won't be in other community feeds. So that's going to be a big way to silo off your content and put it in the buckets that you want it.
I think I like that one. Like even if you post in a specific community, it still populates the main feed, because in the end, it's like where everything lives. So even if you're browsing the general feed, you can find something interesting from a topic that you might not even know about, but you find it, and then you get siphoned into the community page, so it's actually a good way for content discovery to have all of the threads from communities directly into the main feed, once there are filters, of course.
Yep.
Okay, is there merchandise for Leo? I think that will be cool. MD Ryan is asking. There are some
Maybe
swag
soon.
already, right?
There is, so Mitch actually has a store. I don't remember the link. Maybe someone's got it for some merch he made. But yeah, there's no official Leo merch store. It's all up to the community.
I'm going through the threadcast. What's the total supply of Leo tokens? I think we're sitting at 16 million, right?
Yeah, I think I may have answered that one text-based because I gave him the link to check on it, but we are at 16.2 million. Yep.
David is back, and then we're gonna have a couple of community members very, very fast. David, do you want to, while I search for questions related to Army of Crypto or Onyx, do you want to get the users hooked so they go check the game right now after the AMA?
Absolutely. Am I clear? Am I coming in good?
Yep.
Excellent. So if you want to know what's going on, you can hit me up directly after. I don't mind spending a few minutes, but I want to push you toward our Discord. We use Discord as our main, hey, we're playing the game. Does anybody want to play? So our Discord, I will drop a link for it. Or Trey, if you're available, can you drop a link for that for me? So that way they have it. And it's already on there. That's what I'm talking about. He knew I was going to ask that in the future. So go to our Discord. We're interactive. It's me, it's Trey, it's the Crypto Wizard, which is our CEO actually. And then we have our dev, our prime dev, but he's oftentimes in the backgrounds because we have to feed him so he continues to work. Don't tell him I said that though. It's probably too late. Yeah, I'm going to get fired now. So, so with that being said, if you go to our primary Discord, you will be able to interact, chat, and we will live stream games. We do that once or twice or 3 times a day. We have people that are live streaming on Twitch. We have people that are starting to get into the game. Some of our whitelisters, the new ones that are there. If you want to check out a game, we have recordings as well. We have a YouTube channel, but if you go to our Discord, that's the place to start. If you don't have a Discord, you can always use the web GUI version. But the point is that if you go to Discord, you will not only see live matches, you'll see us chat about matches, you'll see us interact with the players. This is our baby. This is new to us. And we want you to come enjoy it with us. This isn't about trying to sell a product. This is about having fun. I want to be the best there is. So the more I get beat, the more I get humbled. So
I was just remembering the Be the Very Best Pokemon theme song.
Yeah.
Working fine on YouTube. Got that. For those of you that said I got really quiet, that's because I had the Discord muted. I wasn't trying to talk on 2 platforms at once. Can you hear me clearly now? Mr. Steam Streams. Great name, I guess. Yeah, you can hear me clearly now. Go to our Discord. That's the place to start. Right. I don't want to rehash everything I was saying, but go to our Discord. That's the place to start. We run live matches so people can watch us play. And you'll get the opportunity to at least see it before you decide if you want to dip your toe in. Although everything is half price right now because we want players to play. We want to enjoy it with you. So Discord, and from there, everything else flows. And we'll be there with you as part of the process too.
That is awesome, David. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to be at least curious to go check it out. I hope you get some players soon. And then when people rewatch this, you get more players. And then those players populate the Leo Finance community about their experience playing the game or reading the white paper, or I don't know, hanging with the community. Anything is welcome in the Leo Finance community page. So you heard it. Go join their Discord. Ask any questions that you may have. The team will be there to guide you step by step. Okay, so we're gonna have a couple of community members come on video. So 1 second, I'm gonna confirm. But okay, someone's coming. David, you're more than welcome to stay in video. If you want, you can just hang out on audio, however you prefer. But we have a couple of people coming from the community to ask questions live.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, by the way. Had a great time talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, fellas. Let me go ahead and get these goodbyes out of the way early. When we go, it's always awkward to end these meetings, but really, you know, from both sides, from multiple communities, just understand one aspect of this for us, for all of us, really. This is never about how much is this going to be worth. This is never about how much does it cost. It's never about that type of stuff. It's always about we grow together, we succeed together, we work together. So as communities grow and succeed, what we're trying to do is reach the other 97%. That's what we want. That's where we want to be. We want to grow our communities so people understand blockchain is a nice tech that can be used for a million different reasons. This happens just to be a really good one. And with that being said, the number one currency we have is trust. So as we grow our partnerships, as we grow trust, that's the currency of the day. It's not the value. It's the currency of the day is trust. So allow us to grow a little bit of trust as we develop these games and blockchains. And let's see if Leo and Onyx and AOC and some of the behind the door devs that never come out in front like this to get, troubleshot. They're earning your trust every day. So thanks for having me on. This was a good start for us, and it's a good start for our partnership. And I really look forward to some guilds later on in multiple games. It's going to be a lot of fun for all of us, I believe.
Yep, very well
Thanks.
said. Thanks for coming on. I just saw a quick question, Eric, from Matt in Discord, and then also on the Threadcast. He's asking about BHBD. And I saw a couple other people asking earlier in the week too. Yeah, so BHBD, obviously, we've been talking about it a lot the past probably like 2 months. But there is no allowing or disallowing of wraps and unwraps. You can wrap and unwrap at any time. If the unwrap does not go through, it is more than likely because of the liquid HBD available. And then you just open a support ticket, and then we'll get to it. I know we have a lot of support tickets pending, so the backlog has been a lot longer than usual. But typically it's like 48 hours to maybe a few days at the most for us to get to those tickets, just depending on how many come in. But right now we just have a bunch of them. So
yes, I was just finishing your thoughts that we're going through the tickets as they come. So it's just a matter of waiting a few more days. We are dealing with a ton of tickets right now. So
yeah, bunch of tickets, and I see he followed up. Yeah, there is a new bridge version that we're waiting on to make unwraps and wraps more reliable. So yeah, even if you wrap, sometimes you'll get one miss, which obviously isn't a liquidity issue, because when you wrap to the other side, it's not giving you native HBD. But we are waiting on a new bridge version, and that's going to be very important. But what I was getting to is that until that new version is released, you can wrap and unwrap freely as much as you want, but you just might be waiting for a ticket. So like I said, usually I'd say the majority of the time we had it down to 48 hours ish. But obviously now it's been a lot longer. So we just have a lot of ticket load. For the past, I would say maybe 6 to 7 weeks, it's been pretty heavy ticket load. So yeah, that's kind of the status of the bridge. But we're waiting on this big update before everything, I would say, gets back to normal operations for both BHBD and Beehive, as well as PHBD and Beehive, which most people have forgotten about. But yeah, once that new bridge version is out, my goal is that there are very few, if any, support tickets on a monthly basis in terms of failed wraps and unwraps. That version of the bridge will be a lot more reliable. It will replay transactions a lot more efficiently. Right now, the current bridge version tries to replay it once. So if you try to do a wrap or unwrap, it'll try to do it one more time if it detects that it didn't go through, and that's it. But the new bridge version will basically be a lot more intelligent, and it'll read the chain and look for your actual wallet transactions. And basically, like when you send the first transaction, every 5 minutes after that, it'll keep reading your wallet until it sees it, and until it sees it, it'll keep retrying. So yeah, like I said, we've really been just kind of sitting tight on the current bridge and waiting for this new bridge version before things get back to normal, how they were, prior to a few months ago. So yeah, the bridge definitely needs some love, but we've just been working on this bigger update in the background, which is kind of a full-scale rewrite. I have seen a lot of people ask for a new bridge UI too, but we may bake that into the new Cub UI, but no announcements yet on that front.
That's not even a when. That's a no when.
There is no when soon on that one.
Tokenized Society, thank you for joining us, man. I'm sorry sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, good.
First of all, do you want to I know you are very well known in the community, but for those who don't know you, want to give a 30 seconds intro of who you are and then shoot your question?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I'm Tokenized Society. Yeah, I think myself of a pretty active member on the Leo finance community. It was actually where I really learned about Hive and blockchain. So yeah, it's where you can find me most of the time. So I'm also a moderator for the Hive BR, Hive Brazil community. And my question, it's somewhat related to that. So I was wondering, I think I heard you guys mention in the past that there was this idea of having like weighted polls, so polls that you can vote based on stake. I was wondering if there are plans or maybe pitch the idea of having giving the ability to choose the token of which the stake would be considered. So, for example, let's say on the Hive Brazil community, we have our own token, which we just launched like a couple of weeks ago. So maybe it would be very nice if we could create a poll and set it to be weighted considering the stake of our token. So we could use threads. We could use those polls for our community governance. I don't know if there are any plans, if that's even possible, but I think that would be nice.
Yeah, awesome question. Yeah, so the weighted polls and polls in general, I've talked about how when I first got in this industry, I was really excited about the idea of governance and putting votes on a blockchain. I talked about blockchain voting like I don't even know how many years ago, but probably before like the whole altcoin craze, when it was just kind of like Bitcoin and then Ethereum was just coming about. I was talking about blockchain voting and how I thought it was an exciting idea and something that I wish would be implemented in different areas of the world, whether it's a school board or even voting for the president of the United States. And especially with that last election, there's definitely a need for transparent and on-chain votes, just to put it that way. But when we launched polls, I talked about my idea that polls would really take over and be a huge use case for Leo. And with that, I want the ability to dictate exactly how you want a poll to go, so that that breaks down into a lot of different steps, but one of them is, like you said, the weighted voting. So I know in one of the next iteration of polls, we're going to add the ability to have Leo weighted voting, so based on Leo power. But by building that, we actually are building all the architecture that we need to have any token on Hive Engine be used for weighted stake weighted voting. So yeah, there's with your own token, you'll be able to set the poll, and the idea is, like, right now you click poll and it just gives you like a really simple 4-bullet option to enter stuff. But in the future, when you hit poll, it'll say, okay, how do you want to take votes as one account, one vote, or stake weighted? And then if you hit stake weighted, it'll give you another drop down, and it'll say, obviously the default will be Leo, but then you hit the drop down and then you'll see all the different options. So my ultimate goal is to have that out in the next, I would say, 3 months. But that is my when soon answer. So we'll have to see.
And related to polls, and this is something that we spoke about that like 3 days ago, question from, I don't even remember who, but oh yeah, it was John J. Olson. So he was making a kind of quiz or a community poll, but with a lot of questions. Will there be, or is there any plans on adapting that you can make a lot of polls and then embedding that into a post? Is that even possible?
So what exactly do you mean by that?
So for example, I want to ask people about the Threads experience, but I don't want to do that in one poll. I want to do that in 10 polls. So can I make those 10 polls on Threads and then make a long form post and embed the polls into the post, so that people can just see the 10 polls? Yeah.
I honestly, I hadn't really thought about that use case, but that's an interesting idea. Yeah, we can definitely add embed codes into polls that will let you put them in other places. Maybe we'll make it so that if you copy the link to a thread that has a poll in it, it'll just automatically embed it if you're somewhere on the Leo UI. But that would be a cool use case, because that would almost give you like Google, if you've ever used Google Forms, it'll almost give you like that Google Forms functionality. So yeah, that wasn't in the plans, but
yeah,
it's definitely something we can do. We'll add it to the list of 1,000 roadmap items.
Guys, for those listening, Tokenized Society also has a show. It's in Portuguese. He hosts it with Ben Promundo. They are both hosts of the Leo AMA /economics/finance/cryptoholics show. It happens when does it happen, Tokenized?
It's Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST.
So now you know, for those listening, you join them. It's pretty fun. I understand like half of what happens, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. So I see. I'm pretty excited about the. Okay, so what while Nonso unmutes, what do you think will come first? Shorts on Threads, or the kind of stories or reels on Leo?
It's a good question. I would say shorts, but it's very possible that they kind of come together almost, because once we solve for the short form video, it's really semantics of how we introduce it, because because basically like stories on Instagram are basically the same thing as shorts. You just add them to your profile and then they disappear after 24 hours. So in reality, we can have, shorts and stories come out at a very similar time scale where, you can create a short video and decide, you basically will just create a short form video that's under 60 seconds. And you'll just decide, does this go to, the main threads feed, or does it go to my story? And I showed that teaser, but you can see that it kind of looks similar to Instagram, where you got like circular profile icons for, the people you're following and stuff. And then if someone has a story, it'll obviously put them up front, and then it'll highlight their profile exactly how it works elsewhere. And if you tap on it, you'll get to see the story that they posted, and then obviously it disappears after 24 hours. But I think it could be a cool use case on Hive. It definitely would bring a lot more like friendliness and liveliness to it. Like, I think especially for me and I know for others like Taskmaster, writing more like and Addicted and some other of the longtime writers on Hive and Leo that make kind of like more long form serious content. It could be a cool way to create more personability in your brand on Hive, with the stories feature. So I think a lot of people are going to wonder what the use case is, because stories is mainly like, okay, you're on Instagram and you got all your IRL friends and you want to see what they're up to. But I think we're with the Everything app, I do feel a lot closer to different people in the community, and I think stories would kind of bring a little bit more personality to everything. I think threads have already brought a lot more personality to everything, because it's just not so serious all the time. Like you get to see a whole different side of me and Taskmaster, especially, I mean, he's commenting on everyone's threads, so you get to see a lot more personal interaction with Taskmaster and get more jokes and GIFs and emojis and stuff like that. So I think that general idea is just going to be taken to the next level when we have short form video, both in the form of shorts and stories. So I definitely am excited about it. I would love to just fire off a quick video and be like, this is what I had for lunch, or this is just got out of this 2-hour dev meeting, and I just take like a video of the dev meeting ending and maybe show a teaser or something, or show off anything else.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much that you can like, for example, I would never share a picture of my beer on Saturday on a long form post. Like, it just does, like, I'm not gonna write a 500 post about what beer I'm drinking, but I can share a thread, or I can either share a video of just saying cheers, and it gives a lot more personality to the person that's doing it. And now you're not just the long form writer who engages a lot, and now you are actually someone relatable. And I think that's going to help a lot for retention.
Right. Retention. And I also think that it's going to help a lot in terms of, and some people might ask, like, what's the point of all this? Like, it really gets away from the vision of Leo and, making all this serious content and stuff. But I think what we've realized is that, our goal is not to be making, serious content all the time. Our goal is to create basically an engaged digital society on the internet. And that's what Leo is now about. So in order to do that, I think we need to create a lot of different forms of sharing and content that, not only meet the needs of, different types of users, but maybe expand the horizons of existing users and really bring a different side of people to the platform and keep them engaged. And that if you want to get to the nitty gritty of, the financials, the value in that is that you have a lot more retention, you have a lot more engagement, a lot more time on site. And with that, you have a lot more ad views. And obviously with shorts, we can place ads into the actual videos. And that's a whole nother ad type that we can work with our ad partners with to get paid for. And obviously do Leo ads smart contract with. So yeah, I think, I definitely think it's a new horizon that we're chasing after. And if you look at the engagement metrics and time on site and everything, it's it's gotten a lot better on Leo. It just continues to improve. So
Yeah, and just think about it. If, let's say, Pump came to Leo Finance to write, then he would bring a lot of people with him. But
Right.
that's not only it. So Pump can write long form posts, but then he can also share some parts of not his private life, but his normal life or his day to day. And then people can actually relate to that person. They can actually like not just read his views on the market, but they can also read about what he's doing with his garden or what he's doing with his dogs, whatever, some stories. But the point is, people come to Leo Finance for the core, which is finance and crypto, but they stay because of all the other things, all the other parts of the universe available for them. There's a Discord news to threads update. Do you want to share that with the audience, or it's not? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Nanso.
which update? The news to threads one?
Oh, the schedule one.
Scheduling feature?
Yes.
Yeah, so on news to threads, you can now schedule who has access to news to threads, by the way?
Right now, only a few ones, only Taskmaster, a couple of team people, and all of the Daily Leo members.
Writers.
But
Okay.
maybe we should open it already for. I think we're ready to open it to a ton of people.
Yeah, it's I was using it this morning and I talked to Hive Trending a little bit, just quick back and forth, that it is a lot smoother. It feels amazing now. Just a quick rundown in case you don't know. News to Threads is our ChatGPT AI connection for Leo. Basically what it lets you do is you can copy a link from websites, and there's like a list of supported sites, investing.com, obviously Leo Finance, Peak T, all the Hive sites, various like Wall Street Journal type sites like that, CoinDesk. You can take article links from those places, and then you can paste them into Discord, and then you can choose what category they are, like crypto, politics, business, stuff like that. And then News to Threads will break them. It'll use ChatGPT to read the article and then give a 3-thread summary and break down the article into those summaries. And then in the 4th thread, it will put the link to the original article if anyone wants to read more and see the full post on whatever website it was originally posted on. So it basically is like a like news aggregator that uses AI and is connected to Threads and is also connected to our Leo Discord. And it's super cool. I use it all the time. And like this morning, I think I put like 6 articles through it. Great way to get like real-time, good, high quality news out onto Threads. And then it obviously posts it from its own Hive account. Like each AI has its own Hive account. And then 100% of the rewards get burned. So if it earns Hive or earns Leo, it automatically is burning all the rewards it gets. So if you see it and you want to upvote it, I guess that at least your upvote is getting burned. So yeah, so the newest update, a bunch of sites were added. I don't know what the full list was, but I saw a bunch of sites like investing.com and stuff were added. And then you can also now schedule when you want them to go out. So like, this morning when I did six articles, I could put all 6 through, and then I could hit schedule and I could choose what time of day I wanted them to go out, so that they kind of had some space in between them. So yeah, if you ever read any interesting articles, right now it's not open. Like we were saying, it's not open to that many people, but we may start opening it up a little bit more, and you'll be able to share articles to Threads from there.
Nonso, please tell me. Nope. Yeah, next one.
Nanzo, oh, he's gone. I don't know if
Yeah.
Nanzo, if you can still hear me. Do you want to just throw your question in Discord chat for now, and then I do want to start doing more of these interactive AMAs. So maybe we'll have one soon, and then you should come back on.
Yes. I am no cat, so I'm not gonna say anything about the market, but do you wanna give your your take on there's a lot of people saying that, okay, so what something happened, miners started to move their tokens to the exchanges, and now there's been like a parabolic up shift. And I don't know if it means that people are getting ready to sell, or they are getting ready to capitulate, or they expect a price pump.
Yeah, I did see that. There has been like an interesting shift in in where miners are holding their Bitcoin. There's also, I actually wrote an article about this morning, but there's been a big shift in people holding mining stock. So Vanguard, it just came out that they bought a bunch of more Bitcoin mining stock, and they're like the biggest holders now, something like $400 million. But yeah, we've seen some interesting inflows and outflows. I think the key takeaway, and I know it's scaring some people, but I think the key takeaway is that the net outflows from exchanges is still up. So that means that more Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually leaving exchanges than staying on centralized exchanges. So it tells us a lot of different things. It tells us, people are buying and moving it to private wallets. It also tells us that people are afraid of centralized exchanges a lot more, which is not surprising. But yeah, I think I've never really been super worried about miners and their general moves. Their interests are, they do need to sell Bitcoin in order to keep their operations going, but their interests are generally aligned with, making crypto more valuable. I mean, they're the ones mining it, right? So I see Davey in the chat saying miners are trying to extract value. Even they have fear of the USD dying and CBDC taking over. Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a fear out there about that. I would still put the CBDC at pretty far out. And I do think there's a pretty big coalition of people that don't want it, even from inside of the government. So I don't know what to think of CBDCs at the moment, but I think if anything, this just strengthens the need for Bitcoin. And even Larry Fink, who is the CEO of BlackRock, obviously has a lot of ties with every country, being the largest asset manager in the world. He was saying that Bitcoin is international store of value, and I think you get a couple people on board like that, and the idea, it goes back to the general thesis of Bitcoin. Bitcoin solves this. So I definitely think the solution is simply that we need to Bitcoinize the world, not to get too maxi on everybody, but
too maxi, yeah.
Yeah, right. I do love Bitcoin. It's my biggest holding, and in my whole portfolio out of everything, but don't want to get too maxi on it. But I do love Bitcoin. I love altcoins too.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, BlackRock and is it Vanguard? They own pretty much everything, and they are also they own stocks from each other. So yeah, they pretty much own everything.
Yeah, financial system, when you start to dive deep on it, is very it's very circular. Very circular. Got 96 comments. Someone made 4 more.
GIFs really give threads a different vibe.
It does.
I love it.
Yeah. I love using GIFs. Someone asked, any new plans for LPUD with threads? I know you put out a teaser and some info about some LPUD stuff, if you want to get into it.
Yeah, so there's been a big change. I completely forgot about that. There's been a big change. So for a year and a month, there's been to participate in LPUD, you need to power up 150 Leo, make a post, have less than 25,000 Leo staked, and then you're eligible to win one of the delegations. We started with 130,000 Leo power in delegations as prize pool, and we are sitting at 250,000 with more than 20 people, like big stakeholders, pitching in something for the prize, which is amazing to see. It means that those who are buying also want to spread the stakeholder base, and they want more people to get more Leo. Everyone knows that a community with a lot of minnows, a lot of small stakeholders is good. So that's pretty good. And the big change is that we started with 150 Leo when it was worth around 5 cents. So Leo, the Leo token has grown in value by a lot, both in USD terms, but also in the ratio it buys Hive with. So we started with around 10-1, and right now we are around 4-1 Leo per Hive. So we understand that a lot of people get some Leo from post rewards, from delegations, from in-Hive income sources. So we know it's hard for some of them to get some USD and then put it into Leo. They can just buy Leo with their Hive rewards. So we have made 2 tiers. The first one is the normal 150 Leo, and the other one is 50 Leo. So one is the lion attack and the other one is the cub attack. If you power up in a cub attack, you are eligible to around 70% of the total delegations. And if you do a lion attack, which is 150 Leo, you're eligible for the 100% of the prize pool. So this gives people with not a lot of purchasing power to still chip in and to still be encouraged to participate in Leo Power Up Day without missing out on the rewards, because they are getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, that's the main update on LPOD.
How much Leo did we power up in June?
I don't remember. Was it 230? I think 250.
230K.
Let me check. LPOD.
I just wanted to give everyone a target to shoot for.
It's opening, but yeah, I think that if we pull numbers in USD, yes, the last Leo Power Update was one of the biggest one, because even though we didn't break any record, where is it? I'm trying to find the historical. Yeah, I just have different sheets. In terms of USD, I think June was one of the biggest one, because it was made with Leo at 8 cents.
Yeah, I've been placing a bunch of orders trying to get my Leo filled. It's been tough the last I want to say about the past month. Just been really tough to get orders filled, and you know, I've been going through Leo Dex and B Leo and Wrap Leo and P Leo and everything. Everywhere you can get Leo, I've been trying to get it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good Leo Power Up Day. I saw DAOs. Actually, I do want to share that while you're finding your stats. I will find this one. So DAOs, I don't know if he posted this. I think he did, but I don't know whether or not he posted it. He did send it to me. So I just put that in the Discord, and I'll put it on the threadcast as well. But Dal sent me this chart. So this is the Leo price versus the liquid supply. And basically what you can see is that more like gray line is the supply, and obviously the other line is the price. But you can see the supply was like kind of steadily increasing and the price was kind of steadily decreasing. That was like the norm for like August 2022 to present, or up until basically May. So the cool thing that you see here is that we implemented a bunch of changes, like with the bounties, rewards, and obviously Leo.voter buying Leo to distribute those bounty rewards instead of them getting minted. And then you saw like this huge spike. So that change went live, and immediately after you saw kind of a huge spike in I think renewed confidence in Leo, given that the bounties thing is over, and also the whole Leo ads protocol is on the horizon. We kind of announced a lot of that in May, and then obviously also on May 1st the new UI went live. So kind of all of that coinciding at the same time. You see right when it hits May 23, the liquid supply of Leo goes from like about 4.5 million, and it over the course of basically like 3-4 weeks, it drops down to 3 million. So at the same time as that happening, the price obviously shoots up. So that just means a lot of people were buying and staking the Leo, taking it off the liquid supply, and then obviously increasing the price as they were buying. So I think this chart's just kind of cool, and I'm really curious to see it kind of play out further. You kind of see the Leo price stabilizing at around 8 cents. It kind of peaked out at 9 and then came back down to 8. But that liquid supply seems like it keeps dropping. So I'm definitely curious to see, if that, where that liquid supply goes in terms of price. But yeah, I may ask Dals if he can get a more historical one too, because this goes back to May. It goes back 1 year, to May 2022. But I wonder what it would look like going back a little bit further to when Leo was $1 at the peak bull market. I wonder what like the price and liquid supply looked like then. But I would assume the liquid supply looked something like it looks now.
Yeah, definitely. So I found it 227,000, but we were coming from a 500,000 power up. So I think it was a good amount. 175 lions powered up. I think we should aim for what, 200,000?
So we did 225 last month and 175 individual accounts.
Yes.
I would love to see us do more than 175 accounts. And so let's try to shoot for something higher than that. And then 225,000 Leo. Let's try to do 250. See if we can get 250,000 Leo powered up, which would be crazy because that's almost 10% of the liquid supply right now. So
yeah, exactly.
It's going to be tough.
The more time passes and the more people power up every single month, considering that the inflation is not more than 200,000 Leo per month, because we are hovering around 5,000-6,000, something like that per day.
Yep.
So if we power up more than the inflation, eventually we're going to just run out of Leo.
Right. Yeah, I'm willing. It has to get bought off and it kind of has been getting bought off the B Leo, P Leo, W Leo oracles. So we've definitely been seeing those supplies get eaten away. And since those are liquidity pools, just understanding liquidity pool dynamics, as that Leo gets bought, the price of Leo that's why the price of Leo goes up, obviously, is that the Leo in those pools gets bought out of the pool, and then people they unwrap it from W Leo, B Leo, P Leo back to native Leo, and then they stake that native Leo. So they're pulling it out of the pool, and what they leave behind is obviously the same amount of Ethereum, for example, with the wrap Leo pool, but that amount of Ethereum pooled against a lesser amount of Leo, and that's how you get those price dynamics. So it's never gonna I've seen people say what happens when the liquid Leo supply runs out. That obviously wouldn't really happen. If anything, obviously just the amount of liquid Leo would just keep going down, but then the price would just keep going up, which is why I think this chart from Dals is really interesting. Because if you have 1 million Leo in the wrap Leo pool right now, and that Leo just keeps getting bought up every month, and then you only have 100,000 Leo in that pool, but you have the same amount or maybe a little bit more Ethereum in the pool backing that 100,000, then the price gets readjusted to match. So because the way liquidity pools work is that the price always has to equal each other, the value of the two currencies. So 100,000 Leo to 25 Ethereum, it's going to be priced differently than 1,000,000 Leo to the same 25 Ethereum. So yeah, that liquid supply just keeps getting eaten up, and I think that's really bullish, in my opinion.
And
I'm back.
yes, I just finished explaining the balance of the pools, and then just said this plays into Taskmaster's thesis that you need inflation to keep growing, because otherwise when we hit a price point where nobody wants to sell and nobody wants to buy, you need constant inflation so that new people can keep buying without pushing the price 50% up for a few $1,000s.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, inflation is definitely important for growth. A lot of people just look at inflation and think, it's a bad thing. But when the economy is
sorry, Carl, Discord mute.
My bad. When the economy is growing, a lot of people think inflation is bad, but when you have a growing economy, a growing user base, inflation is actually good because you're using that inflation to keep the growth going. So, I would say in times of if you had a perfect system, like in times of a bear market, you would lower inflation and kind of tighten everything up. And then in times of a bull market, you'd utilize more inflation to get more users. But if you have a lot of inflation and a decreasing user base, then obviously bad things are going to happen. We had a lot of inflation in this bear market. I think we had a lot of inflation and a stagnant user base. So, I looked at a lot of metrics for Leo, and I remember you and I were going over it, Eric, that Leo was one of the only, I think maybe the only Hive UI that actually didn't lose any users in the bear market. We just kind of stayed flatlined, which is really surprising because I would say every crypto project I've really seen decreased their user base during the bear market, this cycle and the last cycle. So I was pleasantly surprised that we actually weren't losing users, but we still had really high inflation for a not growing user base. So I think that's where we ran into a lot of issues. So I'm glad to see those things ironed out and fixed, and just a better trajectory in general. And like Taskmaster was saying, so there's about 6,000 Leo per day in inflation, right? And that's down from where it was, which was like prior to May, it was 25,000 a day. Yeah, 25, 30. And it was variable because it was paying from it had to pay delegators, and it would just mint whatever it needed to pay delegators every day. And that amount just kept increasing. So, yeah, so now it's obviously not doing that anymore. It's buying the Leo instead of minting it. But we're at 6,000 Leo per day, roughly, at the current price of 8 cents. That's $480 per day in inflation, which is $14,000 a month. So basically, if the economy can grow, and this is obviously all rough type of theoretical type of stuff, but if the economy theoretically grows by $14,000 in value every month, then that puts us on a positive trajectory. And you were talking about if last month 225,000 Leo got powered up, which at 8 cents is worth $18,000, but the inflation only produced $14,000 worth of inflation. So we powered up more than the inflation created. So it's not deflationary, but it is a positive, in my opinion, a positive flow of tokens, which is flowing from liquid to staked. So I would say if we keep up a trajectory like that might be a cool metric to track with each LPUD, especially as that liquid supply keeps decreasing. You are going to see less Leo get powered up because there's less Leo available. And also Leo's a lot more about like you were saying, I mean, Leo's almost 3 times the value it was in one of our last LPUDs compared to June. So as that keeps happening, less Leo getting powered up, but the dollar value being higher is kind of a good metric that I think we could look at. because it just means more inflow into Leo value wise. So yeah, increasing the user base, increasing the traffic. Right now we got the bounties in Leo.voter buying Leo, but once that Leo ads contract goes live, I think some interesting things are going to start to happen, because you combine, you take the big three, you combine actually four, you combine bounties buying back, you combine Leo ads buying back, you combine LPUD buying, and then our obvious big mission is to get more users, and then you've got them coming in too. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. The real tipping point is going to be only Leos generating fees for Leo Finance, and then we will moon.
Yeah, only Leos is the it's the ultimate game changer. That's the fifth one.
All right. Seems like we've been going for an hour and a half. Are we missing anything? I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel like we covered it. Zoom has been giving us a lot of trouble though. I got kicked off again.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about.
Oh, Kakashan is asking, what is the average revenue from ads every month?
You will find that out in the Sooniverse.
Very soon.
Yeah, when this Leo ads smart contract goes live, you'll be able to track the wallet address and the smart contract where the advertisers are sending the budgets to.
There was someone asking, it's not on the Threadcast, it was during the week. I heard, will it be possible that people, so right now, when the Leo ads contract goes live, people with Leo power will get the best of that situation, but will there be any incentive for traffic generators that do not own Leo?
Yeah, I've seen Taskmaster talk about an idea for creating like a separate pool for that. I have some ideas for evergreen content. I've talked about it a lot, that a big problem on Hive is that with articles, your only incentive is really in the first day, or if you get mechanical about it, the first 7 days. But in reality, you get most of your votes in the first 24 hours of your post. But then you obviously get paid out after 7 days. So after that 7-day window, you really have no incentive to create content that has any value outside the 7-day window, which is basically why we have this huge problem on Hive and on Leo, where a lot of content is aimed at making you excited right now and having no value outside of that. So for example, with Leo, a lot of content where someone makes a fluff piece about Leo gets upvoted a lot. And the reason why is because obviously you look at it as a Leo holder and you're like, oh, wow, they're talking good about Leo. I'm excited about that. I'm going to give them an upvote. So the incentive structure is unbalanced, because it's basically favoring people who get that quick hit dopamine, whether they're talking about Leo or talking about Hive. So one of my ideas with evergreen content is that we need to expand the incentive window beyond 7 days, because what really grows not only Hive but Leo is people creating evergreen content that gets published and then gets traffic over time. Because the best pieces of content on the internet, they don't necessarily get a ton of traffic the second or the minute or the day or the week that they're posted, or even the month or year that they're posted. The best pieces of content are getting traffic for a decade after they're posted. They're getting even more traffic a decade after they're posted. So you look at a big example in an article that I really like, if anyone wants a good read, is called 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. And that article gets a ridiculous amount of traffic. And I think the traffic that it gets is only increasing over time. So, it's an evergreen piece. People still talk about it to this day. It was written, see if I can find what it was written, 2008. It was written in 2008. So over a decade ago. And it gets a ridiculous amount of traffic. So those are the types of content that we want to not only reward, but reward even heavier than everything else. The problem is we don't have the mechanics in place to do so with the 7-day payout window. And I don't think increasing the payout window is a solution for that, because it's like I said, you want a piece of content that does well for 5 years, 10 years after. So my idea is related to, and you see the view counters live on Leo. We pushed that last month. So now you can see how many views a thread, we haven't pushed it for articles yet, but you can see how many views that a thread gets. So like, for example, obviously this is going to be a good example, is the thread cast for today. It got 141 views. And if you hover over it, it says this thread generated approximately 25 cents or 3.05 Leo in Leo ads revenue for Leo smart contract buybacks. So basically this one thread generated 25 cents in ad revenue. It's using obviously an estimate based on impression data and clicks and stuff like that. But what I have an idea for is we're obviously working to add them to articles. So if you post an article and then 3 years from now, over the course of 3 years, it's obviously getting views, but let's say 3 years from now, it, is on kind of a nice curve of getting more and more views, and it's generating, let's say it's generated 100,000 views and it generates like 4,000 views every single month. And if you, if that article is generating 4,000 views a month, that would be, or let me just make the math really easy on myself. So my thread is generating 141, or it's got 141 views right now, and it's generating 25 cents. So just making the math really easy. Let's just say that it generates 140. Let's just say it generates 14,000 views every month, right? So that would be
$250, right?
Right. So yeah, exactly. So $250. So obviously 141 is 25 cents, $14,250. So if that article is generating $250 in ad revenue every single month, because it's an evergreen piece and it's constantly bringing in traffic, we should figure out a way to take a percentage of that and drive it back to the author who created that evergreen piece every single month. And it just enters their account in the form of Leo, for example.
Yeah.
So that ad revenue is obviously going to the smart contract, but maybe we add another smart contract where if it's an evergreen piece of content and it's generating over a certain amount of views every month, a kickback gets sent back to that author because they're the one that wrote that article.
Yeah.
So I think that will completely change the way that content is created. I think threads have already changed the way content is created on Hive. But I think this evergreen thing will completely change the way people write content on Hive, because now not only are you going to earn the upvote, because at the end of the day, we all know that you get the upvotes you get. Like it doesn't vary all that much. When you look at different authors, they tend to get very similar upvotes on every post. So you're going to still get those upvotes, but I think what's going to change is instead of just only like when you create a piece of content, you're like, okay, I get $10 worth of upvotes on each piece of content. Instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to get $10. If I just write 3 posts a day, I get $30 a day, right? I think that's where most Hive authors are at. You're going to be thinking, okay, if I create, instead of 3 articles a day, if I spend more time and just put it all into 1 or 2 articles a day, yeah, I might be earning $10 or $20 worth of upvotes instead of 30. But if I create, 1 article a week becomes an evergreen article that makes $250 a month in ad revenue, now maybe I'm earning, I earned $10 on that article in upvotes in the first 7 days, but then 3 years from now, I start suddenly earning $100 a month in ad kickbacks. So I think
that is the thing. So I think some people are like, okay, I already did 600 words. I'm still going to get $5, $10. Why would I give more? Why would I make better content? Why would I try to bring people to this post if I'm just going to get the same amount as if I just made a 300-word post? So they put in more time, they put in more effort. Sorry, I cut you off there, but
no, you're good.
It was.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm really excited about the idea. I'm completely with you. It's right now, there's no incentive to create high quality evergreen articles. There really isn't, unless you look deeper at the incentive of, okay, I hold Leo and I hold Hive, I should want more users here because it will make my stack more valuable. And that's a fine thing to think. And I think a lot of us do think that way, but it's not a clear enough incentive, I think, for the majority of people to follow, some sort of trajectory for that. So, really flipping that on the head and saying, okay, there's an actual real mechanic here that rewards you for evergreen content going viral over a long period of time. I think that could really change the face of Leo and Hive in general with in terms of content. So that, and then also, we joke about the only Leo stuff, but that really is like an important thing. Like Hive authors have never really had a way to monetize themselves other than upvotes. So what I want to do is change that, because upvotes are great, rewards pools are great. I think it's a great way to create short-term incentives, which is actually why I think the Leo rewards pool being used for threads is highly valuable, because it's rewarding stuff in the short term, and threads are all about short-term interactions. But something completely different needs to be created for long-term stuff. And articles are actually a long-term thing, but we give them a short-term reward, which creates a bad incentive structure. So I'm excited to change that and make it so that with only Leos, like, you're going to actually want to create a brand and, get people to subscribe to your premium content, and you'll be able to do it all on Hive and accept Hive, HBD, and Leo. And then with this evergreen stuff, you'll actually be able to say, if I spend some extra time, if I put some keyword juice in, if I look for trending keywords on Google, and I try to project, okay, I think people a year from now are going to be talking more about, Bitcoin miners and what they're doing with their Bitcoin, because the halvening is coming up. So I write a positioned article to accept a lot of the traffic that's going to be coming. And if you think through all these things and you think more like a real blogger, then you get rewarded more. And it could be a lot more. Like we were just doing that rough math, that if you generated 14,000 views per month on an article, which if you look at trending articles, that is absolutely nothing. 14,000 views is not even a drop in the bucket for what some articles generate. Some of the viral articles out there. I mean, we're talking, like, if you look at like Tim Ferriss's blog and like some other big blogs, we're talking millions of views on certain articles per month. So we're talking about 14,000 views generating $250. So it just the math starts to get really ridiculous, because we are a tiny speck of nothing right now. But if we generate any level of, interactions and the stuff that I'm talking about, I think things start to get really wild.
It is going to be wild. And people can still get in. This is such a pretty affordable price. I don't know. Sir, we've been at it for 2 hours.
Yep. I'm getting to that point. I haven't eaten today, so.
Okay. I think I run out of all the threads.
Yeah, and if there's any that we
questions.
missed, I usually try to go through at the end of the AMAs and find some questions, to either turn them into a post or reply. So I'm good whenever you are.
Yes, I don't know if anyone's got any more questions. No, yeah. Yes, I'm good, sir.
Sweet.
Thank you everyone for coming. This was a long ass AMA, but glad you stuck. Wow, we still have like 17 people listening on Discord and a few others on YouTube. Nice. Okay. That's it. See you next Tuesday. We'll be back to the normal broadcast with Kat and Carl. Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Eric, for organizing all this. I know you put in a lot for to get the partnership, and we talked about that at the beginning, and then also the live interactive AMA and everything like that. So yeah, this went really well.
I really like that emoji though.
The salute emoji.
Yeah.
That is literally my favorite emoji.
Yeah. Okay, guys. See you
Sweet.
later. Thank you,
All right.
Carl.
Thanks, Eric. We'll catch you guys all later.
See ya.
See ya.